It is officially Royal Rumble Saturday. Well, technically here, while we're recording this, it's the wee hours of the evening. Feel like those old stay up late with WCW where they used to do the Bobby Heenan in his PJs going through some WCW programming before a pay-per-view, like that. But I am Tommy on the spot, and I'm joined by my main man, Steve, down in Orlando, Florida. Steve, how are you doing? Are you excited for the Royal Rumble?
I am very excited. This is probably one of the most excited and most, unprecedented Rumbles in quite a while, because it really feels like it's open. It really feels like it's anybody's Rumble up for grabs on both sides.
I completely agree. Yeah, it's the first time in a long time, too. Like last year, you kind of knew it was going to be Cody and Rhea who were going in there. A year before, there was two surprises with Ronda and Brock, but it leaked, and pretty much most people knew, though, they were going to be the winner. This one, it really is like 4 or 5 on each side that can really go in and win, and I think it's where the Rumble is at its best. And what a week it's been, too. I did my video about the release of the WWE 2K24 video game cover on Monday morning, and it said, typically you get a little something extra to sink your teeth into when it comes to Royal Rumble week. And little did we know you'd have, WWE giving the rights to Raw over to Netflix and announcing that deal. The Rock joining the board of directors. Vince McMahon getting sued here for a variety of really horrible, heinous crimes. And now here we are. It is Royal Rumble Saturday. It's been a heck of a week. Any thoughts you have on anything that's gone on down this week?
Oh boy, a lot of thoughts. None of them good. So I don't know if it's unfortunately, and I think this might be. I mean, maybe I'm out of pocket, but it feels like it is something that is both shocking because of just the nature and the severity of what transpired, but at the same time, not surprising. Because of who it is, and because this is not necessarily when a leopard shows you their spots, you have to kind of pay attention.
100%. Yeah. And, I thought it would have been in poor form to jump on here and start talking about Royal Rumble picks and doing all that. And obviously, we'll get into that and we'll have a great time here with that. But I thought without mentioning anything that gone on, it would have just been a little bit, it would have had us both looking aloof. And we are aware of the severity of these allegations. Myself, in my shoot world life, I'm in human resources, and I can tell you one of the things I'm most passionate about is creating a work environment for people that is the best it can possibly be. Not everybody loves what they do for a living. Some people just kind of deal with the suck so that they can get through the end of the week and enjoy the things they do in their life. But while you're working there, it should be the best environment possible for everyone. And from the behaviors that have been alleged, and we should make it clear it is alleged at this point, but they're very much, the behaviors of a true predator. This lady clearly going through some serious issues, needing a job, needing money, and Vince McMahon kind of using that to get to where he wanted to go to. So, a really tough situation. He did resign from WWE today, which is probably for the best on all accounts. And, I'm sure much more to come on that. But just an unfortunate situation and horrifying. If the more you read into it, the worse it gets, I feel like.
Oh yeah, and I mean, I don't know. Do you think that his resignation? You don't want to kind of read too much into it necessarily, but do you think that his resignation is maybe an admission of guilt to some extent?
I think
or is it just like a business move?
I think it's more like a you better resign or we're going to knock you out type of deal.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, the biggest question that comes to my mind is how do you have this internal investigation and deem him fit to come back after that? Because that happened last year, where that whole deal kind of went on. So it's been a crazy, certainly 24 to 48 hours. It was the right move, I think, for him to resign. If not, I think he was going to be suspended pending investigation again. So he probably is just like, all right, I'll just bow out at this point. I'm sure the powers that be talked with him, said, hey, we got to get you out, especially with one of the biggest weekends of the year, with them having this press conference, I believe, that is still scheduled for after the Royal Rumble. I think they thought the best case would just be get him out of there. And so he resigned before getting terminated is probably what I think happened.
Yeah, and I mean, either way, I think it's for the best.
Absolutely.
But I've also, I've been with CM Punk for a little while on this, ever going back to the pipe bomb.
Yeah.
And you hate to say it, but guy had a point.
Yeah. No, exactly. And it is. It's an unfortunate dark cloud over an otherwise very exciting week for WWE. You had the great promo with Punk and Cody Rhodes on Monday night. I don't know if you got a chance to see that yet.
I did, yeah. I'm all caught up on everything, yeah. And yeah, it was like goosebumps, like hair standing up on end.
Yeah, so good. And even just before we got on here, SmackDown wrapped up. We have new tag champions, the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane. That was kind of surprising. I did not expect the title change right before the Rumble. And also a couple of NXT call-ups. He said Elektra Lopez showed up to join Santos Escobar in his new faction.
Yeah, and I have to say, I know this is Rumble coverage and everything, but I have to say I'm really liking the LWO versus the Santos faction feud that's been going on. They're all phenomenal athletes. They're all phenomenal entertainers, wrestlers, and everything like that. And so I love the in-ring action. I love the storytelling through all of it. I'm kind of excited to see, like, as far as like the mid-card feuds go, I'm kind of excited to see where that one goes.
I really am, yeah. And now, was Dragon Lee there tonight with the LWO?
He was not.
Yeah,
I know he's kind of like that satellite, kind of sort of in, kind of sort of not.
Yeah, well, I think they needed him also in NXT, so I know he's been battling Emmy down there. So that part's been kind of tough. But other than that, I completely agree. And then who I picked initially for my surprise for the Royal Rumble during my picks, Trick Williams made a surprise appearance tonight, coming up on SmackDown to help out Carmelo Hayes.
Now that would be a surprise.
That would have been. If they brought back Carmelo Anthony, that really would have been a surprise. But no, he came out to help Carmelo Hayes run off, I think it was Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. Yep. And the crowd just erupted. An incredible moment. Even he looked taken aback at how everyone knew him, and everyone was ready. Second his music hit, they were screaming, "Whoop that trick," and it was just awesome. So very, very cool. And I thought, honestly, they should have held off for the Rumble. I think it would have been an incredible moment. But it was still cool to see that now. Hopefully he's kind of brought up, because I think he's someone who has all of the tools. I think he's still getting better in ring. But really great way to SmackDown ended up being a lot more impactful than typically a SmackDown before pay-per-view is.
Yeah, and I mean, you always have to have the main event kind of scrum where all the guys that are featured in the main event come out and do their thing.
Yeah.
It was one of those things where it's like it was kind of maybe a foregone conclusion. There were maybe one or two moments that maybe you thought could have gone one way or another. Maybe it would have been different. But yeah, I mean, it needs to just kind of boil over, and finally we get, all right, everything gets settled tomorrow.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I completely agree. And yeah, they did a good job in maybe adding some suspense to that four-way as well. LA Knight standing tall as things wrapped up. So who knows? We won't give away our picks because we're about to get into them now. A very short slate of matches tomorrow on the Royal Rumble. And it makes us, it's interesting. I recently have revisited on my channel the Royal Rumble 2019. I put up a vlog of our trip down there to Arizona, and I'll be doing the experience video next week. That show ended up having 5 matches in addition to the 2 Royal Rumbles. And they also had 3 pre-show matches. So without the pre-show, this was over 5 hours in length. And with the pre-show, it was like 6-7 hours. So what I think Triple H is really doing with this is, hey, the Rumbles are an hour each. You don't need more than 2 matches in addition to the Rumble. He's always been more on the less is more. Let's not burn out the crowd. And what are your thoughts on there only being 4 matches announced?
I like it. Of course, you're leaning towards, then that also means that you're not going to be strapped for time. There's no filler. There's not really a lot of, I think it might be almost where like the pacing might work a little bit in their favor, but also, there's no. It's a good thing and a bad thing that there's no bathroom break matches or, concession stand matches or anything like that, But at the same time, like, sometimes you need that.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
But on the flip side, at least that means that all of these matches are going to get the time that they deserve.
Oh, 100%. I completely agree, and it should be a really good show. So let's get into it here. The way we're going to have this work is each of us will choose a winner of each match. We will keep track of this for the entirety of 2024. Hopefully, we'll be able to make sure we, at a minimum, exchange picks, and then I'll go on and report them. But hopefully, Steve will be able to join us each month, and we'll go through. We'll keep track of who gets each win, and we'll also try to find some bonus questions and bonus topics for each pay-per-view. For this one, it's pretty easy with the Rumble. We have a couple of them that we've discussed ahead of time. So we're going to go through the 4 matches. Each one of us will choose a winner. And then for each Rumble, we're also going to predict who we think will be numbers 1, numbers 2, and number 30, which will be for good for 1 point each. And then we also get a surprise entrant, which can be anyone from the past or anyone who hasn't been seen on either Raw or SmackDown in let's say about a month or so. So anyone who might be injured, anyone who might be off television, you could utilize them as a surprise entrant. So all told here, each Rumble will be good for 5 points, and each one of the matches will be good for 1 point. So it could be a total of 7 points that you could earn at the Royal Rumble this time.
I like it.
All right, awesome. And Steve, I guess we'll get started here. It is going to be for the United States Championship. Logan Paul defending against Kevin Owens. Any thoughts on this one?
This is the classic when I would go with when I would do our pay-per-view picks with my cousins back in the day. This is the classic. What I want to happen is not what I think is actually going to happen. And of course, what I want to happen is Kevin Owens kicking the shit out of Logan Paul and walking away with the U.S. Championship. I don't see that happening, though. I do see Logan Paul retaining.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Logan Paul for sure. We'll be in lockstep on this one. I think Logan will continue to hold that title. I think they're going to build to either Logan Paul defending that title at WrestleMania against LA Knight or Logan Paul defending that title against John Cena at WrestleMania.
Oh, interesting.
Though I think, regardless, I think you're going to have Logan Paul going into WrestleMania as the U.S. champ. And unfortunately, I just think Kevin's kind of in a holding pattern right now. And we'll kind of see how it goes.
I also think that this is really, if I'm not mistaken, his first title defense and his first match since winning the belt. So there's not really, he hasn't done anything with it. He's only appeared on TV to kind of be the shitty little thing that he is. So,
I think he's had the belt on the table when he does his Impulsive show, and that's about it. And I think that's
so
it's part of his character that he's been saying how he hasn't lost the title in however many days, and it's like, well, no, you haven't, but you also haven't defended the title in however.
Yeah, you've barely shown up on WWE television, so whatever. But whatever.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think the match will be very good. I think Kevin's great when he gets a chance to almost be the bully type wrestler, which I think will be in this match. But I do expect shenanigans and Logan finding a way to retain the title.
Yeah.
So what do you want to do? You want to do the Rumbles now, or do you want to do the 4-way?
I'm good with the Rumbles now.
All right, sounds good. I will defer to you if you want to we'll do the Women's Royal Rumble first then. Do you want to go ahead and pick your choices for numbers 1 and 2 for that one?
For the Women's Rumble?
Yeah.
I can do that. So I think I was kind of torn with this because I did see SmackDown and I know that you did not. But I can tell you that when Bayley drew her number, she was very unhappy with it. Which leads me to believe that it's probably going to be either a 1 or a 2. I'm torn between which one I want to go with here. But I think it's going to be, I think she's going to be 2.
Okay.
Because I'll tell you one in a moment. And then I'm going with, I think let's go Becky number 1.
Okay, I like it. I like it a lot. And why do you think she's going to be number 2, Bayley?
Because I think that she's going to win.
Oh, Bayley. Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I think that I think that what's going to happen is she wins the Rumble, and because again, kind of a little bit basing this off of SmackDown, there was a phenomenal promo that she had where it was talking about all of her plans for Damage Control and everything, and what happened previously during COVID and all this stuff, and how one of her plans was for the Kabuki Warriors to win the tag titles, and then for her to win the Rumble, and her to go on to challenge Rhea at WrestleMania. But I think what's going to happen is the first couple of steps of that plan are setting in motion. She'll win the Rumble, but as we've seen that there are cracks in the foundation with Damage Control. So I think what's going to happen is something's going to happen where she leaves Damage Control and then turns around and challenges Io instead.
I think you're right. I think that makes a good amount of sense. I believe similarly, but because of the fact that since we're kind of going head to head here, I'll have some fun with this, and I will choose a little differently. I didn't see SmackDown, so I'm gonna hope Bayley gets number 3 or 4. I will go with the number 1 and number 2 picks that I made on my predictions when I predicted all 30 entrants in the Women's Royal Rumble. Number 1, I will go with Bianca Belair. And number 2, I will go with Zoe Stark. I chose somebody random to kind of go in there against Bianca.
Yeah.
And get a little showcase to kind of start things off. So I will go with Zoe Stark at number 2, Bianca at number 1. And I'll go with my winner before we get into our number 30 and our surprise entrance. My winner I'll go with is Becky Lynch. I think Becky Lynch will go ahead and win the Royal Rumble and go on to challenge probably Rhea Ripley for her championship at WrestleMania. And then I do think Bayley's going to get to Io Sky, but I think she'll backdoor that way around there by winning the Elimination Chamber match to get
okay.
her feeling like, hey, this is my only chance. I wouldn't want to do this, but I still want to get something. And that kind of her, kind of separating from Damage Control there. Do you have a number 30 entrant?
As number 30, I'm, I don't want this to happen because I do have her picked as one of my entrants for my little fantasy rumble that we have going on. But I think it might be Nia Jax.
Oh, Nia Jax is a good one. Nia Jax is a really good one.
So, I mean, it's usually with the those kind of competitors, usually she's in the middle somewhere because it's one of those things where it's like, everybody needs to work to get them over the ring. Same thing with when it was like Big Show or Omos or whoever it is. But I think one of the things is that if she is later on in the match, then it's going to be, oh man, like there's only a few people left. Like how is this going to happen? Like she's now the odds-on favorite. Right. And then, one of our picks happens, hopefully.
Well, and I think just based on her size, too. I mean, it's the reason why the Big Show won 7 consecutive Royal Rumbles. Nobody was able to throw him out. So much bigger than the rest of the competitors there. So, but yeah, I definitely expect Nia Jax is going to be there towards the end. She's been on a tear since she's returned. She's an outside favorite. She's an outside pick to win it. I mean, because they just continue to give her win after win since returning. They've really booked her really strong, which I think is great. My number 30, I'm gonna double up here because my number 30 pick, and it was on my official picks for predicting all 30 entrants to the Women's Rumble, so I'll stick with it. It's also gonna be my surprise entrant because my number 30 pick is Jade Cargill.
Okay.
Who I think will be in there in the end. I think they're gonna have one Rumble where the number 30 will be a surprise. I think the Men's Rumble, they aren't going to do this because I don't think they want anyone to think the surprise is going to be somebody outlandish and ridiculous and, one of your top folks. So I'm going to go with Jade Cargill at number 30. And also I'll double up and that'll be my surprise entry.
That's your surprise pick. Okay. So I thought about a couple of different ones. But I think that I'm going to go with my surprise pick after, we started on our watch along with Total Divas. So I'm going to go with Naomi.
Oh, I like that. Okay. That'd be that would be an awesome pick if they can get her to come back. And I'm not sure if she's still with Impact, but if she is, I don't think that's necessarily determined that she won't be in the Rumble because they had Mickie James in the Rumble.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. So, yeah.
So, is Naomi the the Knockouts champ? Do we know?
I genuinely have no idea. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I'm not up with the Impact stuff. Somebody will roast me in the comments, but I have no idea.
I can find out real quick for you.
Yeah, I'm not sure if she's there, but that would be great. It would be great to have her back in the mix, and I like that as a surprise entrant. And I don't know if either of our picks for surprise entrants will be surprise entrants, but that's what makes it fun. So, we'll go ahead and continue. So,
she is not, by the way.
What's that?
She is not.
She's not. Okay. All right. So that's good. So, but I think she's open to at least a potential pick there. But I like that. That's very cool. All right. Do you want to go ahead and name your picks for numbers 1 and 2 in the men's Royal Rumble?
Yes. So I think I'm looking at the list here, and as far as who we know, and I'm thinking that it's gonna be Cody as number 1.
Okay.
And you know what? This was my first kind of thing. I think it's going to be Shinsuke as number 2 because they have this little feud going on, and I think they're going to continue it on there. And I think that, I mean, who knows? I know who I have as picking as winning, so I don't know necessarily how that's going to work out. But yeah, that's what I'm going to go with.
I appreciate they've continued to try to get Shinsuke involved with some of the bigger storylines.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, never gets the upper hand, but he never ends with the win. But it's good that he's at least involved.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm again going to double up. I'm going to go with my number 1 entrant is going to be Drew McIntyre. Getting a chance to finish this story, and what better thing to say than, hey, here he is. He had that opportunity, and the only reason he didn't win the Rumble is because he was the number 1 entrant. And going up against Drew McIntyre as the number 2 entrant, starting the Rumble off hot, making his return to WWE, Sami Zayn, who was taken out initially by Drew McIntyre.
Interesting. I like that.
Yeah, so that's how I have those two. Does Sami count as a surprise entrant?
I don't really think so.
Yeah, not really.
I mean, I know he hasn't been on TV for a while, but like
he's been on the show, so I won't count him as my. He hasn't been on TV, but he's been continuing to wrestle. He's been on the live event, so
yeah.
So I will hold off. Then I will not name my surprise yet. Do you want to name your number 30 entrant for the men's Royal Rumble?
I can name a number 30. I actually think it's going to be Drew.
Drew number 30. Okay.
Yeah, I think Drew number 30.
My number 30 that I believe they're going to do is CM Punk, and the reason I think they're going to do that is because I don't think The Rock is coming to the Rumble, and I think that if they were to leave that open and have it be anyone else, you run the risk of people getting disappointed and everything else. But if they know number 30 is going to be Punk, they're still going to love him no matter what. So I think I'll hold off on CM Punk until number 30.
I do hope that is the case, as number 30 has some of the best odds to win, because I am actually choosing CM Punk to win the Rumble.
I like it. I like it a lot. My pick to win the Rumble is actually, and it's a change of heart that I've had based off of Raw on Monday. I was with you on Punk winning the Rumble, but there's just something about that promo in the beginning of Raw that got my juices flowing, that made me think, man, maybe Gunther really is going to win the Royal Rumble and then go on and defeat Seth for the title at WrestleMania. I know it's a little bit of an out there pick, but my biggest fear is this will happen and then he'll just drop the Intercontinental title without putting anyone over, which will infuriate me beyond belief. But I think he's going to. That's going to be my official pick to win the Rumble.
So I have a kind of similar thing where I based mine off of something that happened on Monday, but not that. I based my pick on the Cody Rhodes CM Punk promo, because my thought is, it seems like Punk is going to be his big thing is he's going to be challenging Seth at Mania, but if for some reason Seth can't go to Mania, it's going to be CM Cody.
There you
as
go.
A backup.
As
a backup for Mania. So I was thinking either way, and that's why I was also kind of torn to see, does Cody do the back-to-backs? And, the first one since Austin, like maybe.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm thinking, yeah, you know what? Let's take a shot.
You know what? They have. I think you're in a better chance than I am, just because they don't typically put over a heel to win the Men's Royal Rumble. They haven't in a really long time. The last one they did to win the Men's Royal Rumble, I can't even think back. It had to be 2017, and even then, Orton was kind of a tweener. So it would have to be 2016 then with Triple H, and he got cheered because it wasn't Roman Reigns. Everyone hated Roman. He eliminates Roman. Roman was the champ, and Roman was defending the title. He eliminates Roman. The place just goes absolutely insane. Like, thank God that somebody got Reigns. All right, surprise entrance in the Men's Rumble.
Does it count if it's one of the guys in the main event? Because I kind of also see, Randy maybe, coming in, that kind of thing. That was one of my offshoots. I thought about it, but I think I'm gonna have to go with as a surprise. I'm so tempted to choose MJF.
I feel like for the Men's Rumble, there aren't that many, so my big surprise pick was going to be Trick Williams, but now I can't use Trick Williams. He's on Smackdown. So I think this is a total crapshoot at this stage. I think MJF's a great pick.
Yeah, why not? I'm gonna throw MJF out there.
Sounds good. For me, surprise pick. I don't know about this one. I think it's a little out of left field, but I'm gonna go with Uncle Howdy. I feel like if there's ever an opportunity to bring him back, get him involved. I don't know if they're ever going to bring that storyline back around or that character back around without Bray. If you're ever going to do it, you do it for the Rumble so you can get him involved in something for Mania, have all the merch and everything that kind of comes with him before WrestleMania. So that's who I'd pick there.
Would we count it if it's I know there was a lot of speculation on who it was when Bray had come back, on who Uncle Howdy actually was. Are we counting it if Bo Dallas makes an appearance?
No, I don't think it counts now. I think it's got to be Uncle
Specifically Howdy. Uncle Howdy.
Uncle Howdy character, yep. I think Bo Dallas, as happy as I'd be to hear that music and him coming out telling people to believe, I think it's my pick is Uncle Howdy. So I think it's got, if he comes out and reveals himself to be Bo Dallas, I think that's fine. I think it counts. But I think that's a good that might be a good pick too, though. It's just him coming back as Bo Dallas doing the Bo leave and all that. That could be fun. But I'll stick with the Houndster as my surprise pick. And then that leads us to the main event. Are you thinking new champ in this main event?
No.
It's so funny. I think this is the first time where Roman's had a title match, honestly, where I don't think there's any chance he's losing the title.
Yeah.
I mean, he had the match with Kevin at the Rumble last year, and you thought maybe that Sammy would turn on him and cost him the title. Had the match with Sammy. You definitely thought Sammy had a chance. Cody, I think everyone thought he'd win. His match with Jay, some people probably could have bought into that. LA Knight was white hot when they had their match, so I think you could have bought into that, but this, I think, being a four-way actually makes me feel like there's no way they're going to change the title.
Yeah, I think looking back on all of those, Sammy, I think, had the best shot.
Yeah, well, Sammy,
that's also when the Bloodline feud, when everything Bloodline was at its peak.
Exactly.
Because it just kind of felt like, they're just kind of there at this point.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I'm over the Bloodline piece of things. I think they'll keep it going for if they do get anything with Rock. But for example, I actually think, I don't really have much interest in seeing Jey Uso go against the Bloodline. I think he's kind of a big enough deal on his own now that I like him to stay on Raw. And, I could see Jey Uso going against Logan Paul at WrestleMania. That could be kind of cool. But Logan's on, I think, SmackDown. But
yeah. I don't know. But I do know that you had mentioned something about what you think is going to happen after the match.
Right. So I do think if this four-way goes on last, the only reason that the four-way would go on last is that The Rock will come out at the end of the match. And that I could really see happening. I could see it being a situation where, Roman wins, he gets on the mic, he does the acknowledge me, that whole thing, and then boom, if you smell, out comes The Rock, and we're on our way to WrestleMania, and that I could absolutely see happening. And then whoever wins the men's Rumble, if it's Punk, he goes after Seth. If it's Cody, maybe he goes after somebody else. But Gunther can go right after Seth if he wins it. But I think that would be the name that I think is going to. I think Rock. I think if the fatal 4-way happens, it's gonna be one of those deals where you sit there and you think, oh man, is this really gonna happen? Kind of similarly to the Survivor Series where you wondered, is Punk gonna be there? Is Punk gonna be there? And they brilliantly swerved us all into thinking he wasn't gonna be there by Randy Orton coming out at the end. But I think that could be quite the moment there. I think Rock will come out at the end and you'll get the big stare down, and right there, the first night they'll have the WrestleMania sign behind them, and away we all go, ready for WrestleMania.
I think that would be a fantastic ending.
I think so too. I almost don't want to get myself too excited. I think literally if we have all the men entrants come out and there's a number 30 that's open, I'm going to be dying to think it's MJF, right? And that's going to be like anyone else comes out, it's going to be disappointing. But
I think he comes out. I think if MJF comes out, he's going to be 29.
You think so?
Yeah. And I think also, I also was very, very tempted to also say that I think that it's going to be John Cena at 30.
That would be. I think Cena has a chance to be in this Rumble as well. And if you haven't seen it, I can't recommend John Cena on Impulsive with Logan Paul enough. I think he came across so great on that podcast. It kind of dropped in the middle of everything. So if you got an opportunity, check that out. But yeah, I think Cena could be in this. I had my big surprise entrant when I did my ranking of all the men's participants showing up at number 29 as well. That being the big monster Omis. I did not him as an entrant similarly because he's been on every live event, but I also think if WWE waited and they gave you a number 30 entrant and it was Monster Omis, it would be just the worst thing they could.
They would riot.
Yeah. It's like, here comes, they've got 29. Everyone knows 30 is going to be a surprise. Everyone's going through, is it Rock? Is it MJF? Who could it be? And then it's Omis. I think I'd almost laugh, but it would be ridiculous.
Or imagine if it's Jinder Mahal again.
Well, so is Jinder an entrant yet or not yet?
Not officially.
I think it'll be.
So I can run down the official entrance so far.
Right, entrance, yeah.
So it was Cody was the first one to announce. Followed very closely a couple of weeks later by CM Punk.
Okay.
And then we got Shinsuke, Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, Gunther, and then the entirety of Alpha Academy: Chad Gable, Otis, and Akira Tozawa.
There should be one Gable, and then the other two come out dancing with him. We don't need all three.
Right, yeah, or something. And then we have Kofi Kingston, Damian Priest. And then most recently, Santos Escobar, R-Truth, who, if we were picking all of the numbers like you have, I would definitely shoe in R-Truth as a number 19 entrant. And then Carlito, Grayson Waller, Austin Theory, and Jimmy Uso.
Interesting. So actually, I picked all of those people to be entrants. I mean, I didn't really, not breaking huge ground here, but they were there. So very cool. That should be.
I'm tempted to switch up my fantasy Rumble that I have going on with my cousins. Maybe switching Jimmy Uso in there for Solo, because Solo is on my list.
But
Jimmy's the one that got the marching orders to go into the Rumble. But I feel like maybe Solo does also, when, it's kind of like maybe a situation where, Jimmy is in there and he's not doing too hot, and then all of a sudden there's some sort of commotion in the back, and then it's all right, Solo stole somebody's spot or something, like, and then he comes out.
They also may not put him in to keep him strong, because I don't think he could win. Lord, I hope he's not going to win. But it would be... Yeah, but that might be a good idea though, because if Jimmy's already been announced, it's not a bad call.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sticking with my gut. I'm gonna keep Solo in there.
I had Solo running through everyone. So in my thing, I had him coming in 7 and then running through a bunch of people and being down there until eventually getting tossed by. I had Jimmy Uso eventually coming in, and then Cody right behind him, and the two of them eliminating. Jay Uso coming in.
Yeah.
And Cody right behind him, the two of them eliminating the entire bloodline. So
I like that.
So, but it should be a fun night. Hopefully, let us know in the comment section who you're looking most forward, what matches you're looking most forward to in the Royal Rumble. Steve, any closing thoughts here before we get on out of here?
I don't want to get sued by Michael Buffer, so I'm just gonna say, let's get ready for the Royal Rumble.
I like it. I like it a lot. I would have popped huge if you gave us the all, oh, let's get ready to rumble. I would give us the whole reverberating scream, but absolutely, I think that sounds great. And keep it locked here to Watch Along Wrestling. We'll see who had the better results when I get on here. Probably sometime on Sunday morning, I'll jump on to break down the show, or maybe late night tomorrow for all of my night owls that are also up there with me. So until next time, everybody. Thanks so much, Steve, for staying up way late with us, and we'll talk soon on Watch Along Wrestling.